Hello everyone, it's me, Jackie from Jackie in the Box. Please like, comment, and subscribe down below. I'm coming at you today with a DIY New Year's wand. As you can see, I'm starting out with some cardstock. It's thicker than regular printer paper, and you can go to even an office store and get a thing of cardstock paper. So my husband actually did that for some of his templates he uses. He needed a thicker paper, so I've stolen some of his cardstock to use with my craft. So I used the thicker cardstock for making these wands. Right here I show you how to put it into a third, you just fold it in half and then you fold it into thirds after you cut it into a circle. And you can use a plate like I did, or you can use a cup, you can use a bowl, anything like that around your house, anything that's round, you know. Once you cut it in thirds, you mark it in the middle of that third, and I measure down 2 centimeters. From there I cut down to that mark in the middle, just that way everything's even and it looks more uniform. Now right here I'm showing you that you can cut out the middle part and have a littler star, and then you also can have a big star that has an empty center. Now I'm using a sandwich bag, because I want to show you how to do this as cheaply as possible, because I know a lot of us DIYers try to use stuff around the house. And I also have other things that I've gotten, like magazine holders, like the bags from magazines that I could have used, but I wanted to show you how to use a sandwich bag to do this. Please do not mind my voice today. I still have a bit of a cold left over, so hopefully I can make it without coughing through this voiceover. Right here I'm using my double-sided tape. When I was cutting out the star in the middle, I was trying to make sure it was thick enough for the double-sided tape, which it worked out pretty good. So from here I'm taking the backs of the double-sided tape off, and I'm going to put the plastic on top and then cut out around the plastic. I'll show you here in a second. You also want to make sure when you are doing this that you do pick something that's small enough to use as a sandwich bag. Either that or you're going to have to use bigger bags. Or when the lady that I did get this off of Pinterest, and the lady that I got it off from, she does it a little differently. She bought contact paper, so one side is sticky and the other side is not. Now, I didn't want to do it with the contact paper because I wanted my inside to be my little things on the inside to move. Right here I show you what I picked to put inside. It's mainly beads and some buttons, but you can also use ribbon, you can also use sequins, anything fun like that. You can just cut it up small enough. This is something that you could even do with your kids on New Year's Eve. You can cut stuff out for them, and then they can pick what they want in the middle. So going back to what I was saying previously, she used contact paper, and I didn't want to use contact paper because even though it is still a really cool effect, and you guys can totally still use contact paper, the parts, the buttons and everything, they wouldn't move, and I wanted them to move on the inside. When you shook the star, I wanted them to be able to go anywhere. So I did some more double-sided sticky tape, so that way I could have both sides of the star the clear part that I cut out. I wanted both sides so that way everything on the inside would still be able to move. And here I'm having a little bit of difficulty getting some of the tape to the backs of the tape to come off. It's something that you may run into where sometimes the tape doesn't want to quite work right for you. So you could always use glue, but if you do use glue, you are going to want to use a glue that dries clear. I recommend Eileen's glue, the super tacky stuff, because it's very tacky for one. It dries fairly, not quickly, but quickly enough, and it also it won't come apart easy, so I do recommend that one. Now here I'm using the rest of the paper to get a bit of a wand, like the bottom part of the wand. And at first I was going to just fold it in thirds, and then I realized, wait, I can make it even. So I pulled out my scoreboard and I scored at 1 inch and at 2 inches. And then I flattened it, and I used double-sided sticky tape again to put it all together. So from there, as you can see, I'm putting double-sided sticky tape on, and I'm folding it down. And anytime you use double-sided sticky tape, try to always press it down extra, because it will make it firm and it won't go anywhere, trust me. If you don't do that extra little press, though, it can come apart easy. Now, I started off doing all this, and then I realized I didn't have any water, and I should have grabbed something from underneath. So here I did grab it, and I'm doing the other side of the wand, painting it. I'm using metallic paint, golden paint, because, you know, most people, when you think of New Year's, you think of gold and silver, so I had gold on hand, so this is what I used. The only silver I have is a pad, an ink pad, so that's why I decided to go with the gold for the bottom. And right here I'm showing you can write around the outside. I'm doing Happy New Year 2019, then I write a little wish, like I hope that 2019 is a good year, or I wish that to have a good year for I wish for a great 2019. I'm sorry, I had to reread it. That's what I put. Anyway, from here I decided that I was going to have some ribbon dangling from the bottom, so that would be more fun. So these are the first time that I'm making them, so I did make a few mistakes that I had to fix, and I'm kind of showing you some of that. I decided from here that I needed to let stuff dry, so I ended up going on to the next little star. And here's where I do have, see, this is the silver ink pad that I was just talking about, so I decided I'm going to use the silver on this star, and I'm going to show you what you can do with the insides of the star, something that's a little different, so that way if you don't want to do the inside star like what I just showed you, you can always make stars and still have fun with it. You can still, you know, use your paper and still decorate and have your kids decorate it, and you can do stamps like me, or you can write on it, you can paint on it. Either way, your kids are still going to have a blast making these. So I put, it's a party stamp. I had a stamp with some bells. And then I also put Happy New Year in 2019. Now this is where I'm going back to the other star. And I made a mistake, which I left on here because I wanted to show you what I did. And I started gluing everything and putting my ribbon on and trying to make it look as pretty as I could. And glued the bottom part on. And I liked how it looked like that. But when I went to go pick it up after it had been sitting there for a while, everything got kind of wobbly, and you'll see that a little bit later. Here I decided to add some of the silver just to get some silver look on my star. So that way I didn't just have the gold on this one, I had some silver too to match like the inside. And I put some silver on top of the gold bottom. Just so, like I said, just to add some silver accents to this one. And here I'm putting it off to the side, and I'll show you later where I end up changing how it looks. And I had tried to make another stars before this, so I had some extra paper. And once again, I'm making the bottom where I square it 1 inch and 2 inch, and then I fold. And let me recommend, if you ever want to have a nice fold like this, those scores are awesome, because then you just put down it and you will get a fold that's amazing. And right here I realized I couldn't find my scissors. I had moved them when I had let some stuff dry. I came back the next day and I had moved them to go wrap presents, so I had to go find my pair of scissors and then come back and start over again. So here I'm showing that you could do something other than painting. You can write on these as well and stamp or decorate with stickers, whatever you might be able to find. I decided to stamp and write. I thought that would be more fun. I may actually let my kids make some of these the day of, just for the fun of it. Like I said, I wanted to show you guys how to make this easy DIY with your kids. And here I wanted to accent with some of the gold. I didn't want to put it all over the place, so I decided on the edges would be fun. So I'm painting the gold on the edges, just to give it a little bit of a gold accent. And I like how it turned out very much. It will look super nice in the end result, at least in my opinion. And all I did was the edges, so I thought that was a lot of fun. One thing that I don't mind when I'm doing any kind of crafty thing is when it doesn't look perfect. I actually don't mind that, because I think any craft that is perfect is just a little bit too much. I actually like the imperfection. I think that's what makes it even more interesting and fun. And here I am adding silver to the bottom. And I thought I was done, and then I realized, oh wait, I forgot to do the other side. So I picked it up and I did the other side with some silver too. So that way this one also had silver and gold together. I did do the bells in the silver. So at first I decided, I'm going to do a little bit on the edge. And then I was like, you know what? Probably be a little bit better if I go deeper. So I took it apart while everything was still wet, and then did it a little farther down. Just that way it would be a little bit more firmly put together. And here's where I pick up the other star and realize this is a little too floppy for my liking. Still fine, but I didn't quite like how floppy it was. So I ended up just changing the way that I did the handle. So I ended up taking it apart and leaving the ribbon there. I figured, I can put it all the way across the back and it'll make it super sturdy. So that's pretty much what I did. And then no matter what, I still have the inside where everything can still move around. So I was pretty happy with the end result, how everything looked. And then I started kind of cleaning up my area. And here is the end result. I think they're a lot of fun. They're easy to make. I'm going to post down below links for as much stuff as I can find for you. So that way if you want to do this, you can order. And I hope this provided some inspiration for you and that you were able to get something out of it. If you do this, please let me know. Follow me on my social media and, tag me. Thanks.